Hi, this tutorial is all about scale factor, specifically comparing objects that have different scale factors. Now before we get started, we need to talk about what scale factor is. Scale factor is basically just multiplying something by a number to change its size. Now, more specifically, if I want to enlarge something, I'm going to be multiplying by a number bigger than 1, which will make the object bigger. So if I multiply by 1.5 or 2 or 3, anything larger than 1, it will make the object bigger. Now if I want to reduce something or make it smaller, I simply multiply by a number smaller than 1. So if I were to multiply by 0.5 or 0.2, 0.99999, I could even multiply by a fraction, like a third or a quarter. Any of those would make an object smaller. Now the format we're always going to use is going to be an O to represent the original object, followed by an arrow, which is where the scale factor is going to be located. Notice it is always multiplication. You can never put division on this arrow. Followed by an N to represent the new. And all problems that we do involving scale factor will follow this format. So you'll always be given at least 2 pieces of information, and you have to work to figure out what is the third. Now we're going to solve a practice problem in which you need to use scale factor to solve 2 different problems in order to do the comparison. If you try to just look at the numbers that are there and do no math, you won't get the right answer. Okay, so we have a frog picture that has a scale factor of 0.5x. 0.5x is the way scale factor is written, but it basically just means it's being multiplied by 0.5. It measures 5 centimeters long. So that's our first part of our problem. Then we have a salamander that has a scale factor of 0.3x, not the same thing as a third, since it only has 1 3, it's just 0.3, and it measures 4 centimeters long. Which real-life animal is larger? So in order to compare these, we need to actually know how long each real-life animal is. So we are going to use the same setup we used before. We are going to put our O for our original, our arrow, and then our N for our new. We're going to do that for the frog and for the salamander. Now we need to find the important pieces of information. It says the frog picture has a scale factor of 0.5x. So that means it's times 0.5, which we could switch to a half if we wanted to. Then we see that it measures 5 centimeters long. Well, what measures 5 centimeters long? The picture measures 5 centimeters long. It's very important that you realize that, because if you don't know that it's the picture, you don't know where to put that number. The new is the picture. It's where you ended up after the scale factor was done to it. So the 5 centimeters goes here. Notice how I'm including the units. Sometimes you might have 1 unit for the first part of the problem and a different unit for the second part of the problem. And you have to make sure that you're using the same unit at all times, otherwise you can't properly compare them. All right, let's continue. Now, I need to figure out how to get from the new back to the old. So all I really need is a reverse arrow string. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 0.5. Now it's very important that you do this in the correct order, because I'm now going from right to left. In my calculator, I'm going to type in 5 divided by 0.5, which is going to give me 10 centimeters. So that means the real life frog in the problem is 10 centimeters long. Now it's the salamander. A salamander has a scale factor, and of course this is the picture again, of 0.5x, and it measures 4 centimeters long. So the scale factor is times 0.3, and then it measures 4 centimeters long. I'm going to again go in reverse by dividing by 0.3 this time, and in the calculator I get 13.3 repeating, but we're just going to go ahead and stick with 13.3 centimeters because I already have enough information to compare. Based on this, it is quite obvious that the salamander is larger. So that's the answer to our problem. Good luck.